Hey, it's me, Lynn Coffey, and I'm here with a really cool training for you today. If you have been in business, particularly the online business world, for any period of time, you've probably noticed over the past, I'd say year or two, there seems to be this like line in the sand, and there's two camps, right? Like Team A, Team B. And Team A is like websites. And usually the people in Team A are webmasters, web designers, and people who make money off of building websites. And then there's Team B, which is all like, well, you don't need a website. All you need is a landing page. And they seem to be people who are really trying to push something like, some sort of landing page program. I guess I'll leave those names off of the training, but because they're an affiliate or they get commission, or there's they just think it's easier and they want to give their clients whatever's easiest, but there's really no strategy behind it. So I don't know, there's like this clear line and you have to be one or the other. And so as usual, I'm the weirdo that kind of comes along, and I look at Team A and I look at Team B, and most people assume that I'm a web designer or webmaster, which actually isn't true. And so they just assume that I believe websites are all that you need. And if you've been watching any of the trainings, or if you're on my newsletter or anything like that, then you know that I believe you need both, right? So I think you need landing pages for when you're doing ads and running paid traffic. You want to send that traffic to a specific page with limited distractions, and basically you present an offer that people either take or they don't. And the reason you want to do that is because you can easily track your conversion rate or your rate of return or rate of investment. So paid advertising goes to a landing page. However, I still think, and probably will always think, that a website is still needed for many, many reasons. Now, it depends on your niche, or it depends on what you're trying to do in your business. For example, if you're trying to develop speaking gigs and things like that, people who are booking you, they're going to want to see a website. If you just sent them to a landing page that offered your 5 free tips to blah blah blah, they're going to want to see more than that. They're going to want to see where you've been featured. They're going to want to see a portfolio, if you will. So there's lots of things that websites provide. Websites also provide the expertise and authority building that you're going to need, particularly if you're selling a service. If you're selling a $5, $10 coffee mug or t-shirt or something like that, you can get away with not building a relationship necessarily. Although, just in case you're watching this and that is you, I would still make an argument that there's still some relationship marketing there that would be beneficial. So I'm kind of, like I said, the person standing on the line, and I'm looking at Team A and I'm looking at Team B, and I'm realizing that, as usual, I have a completely different mindset and a completely different philosophy. And I think it's one of the reasons that I'm seeing success using my own website to grow my business, but also all of my clients as well. So there's lots of little things that go into this, but the overall strategy is that a website is usually nothing more than an online brochure. I've said that a million times. But the other piece to that is then, well, if it's not an online brochure, what should it be? So what I wanted to do is show you my website and kind of go through just a couple of the main pages and explain the point of them. That way you have sort of the overall strategy so that you can mimic or map that onto your existing site. But here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't quite get yet, right? And so it's up to me to kind of go out there and shout it out from the rooftops, because it's such a different way of thinking. And unless you're in my position, you wouldn't really think of it. So today's training is all about, instead of having just a website that is an online brochure, or instead of just having a landing page, why don't you combine the two and have a website that acts as a landing page? Kind of confusing, right? So here's the thing. You can't, well, I guess you can, but you don't really want to send cold traffic to a landing page because there's lots of issues, and I want to make sure I stay on point here, right? So again, if you're doing paid traffic, it should always go to a landing page, period. But sometimes you need to develop that trust, that relationship, that expert authority status. And so it's kind of hard to explain in words. So I think the easiest thing for me to do is to show you my website. But keep in mind that when your website acts as a landing page, a better way to put it, when your website acts like a funnel, you're going to see conversions. So what do I mean by that? So here's on my homepage. This is PS, my entire homepage. That's it. The simpler it is, the more conversions you get. That's a play right from a landing page, right? The more cluttered and confusing your offer and on your landing page, lower your conversion rate. So why don't we take that, because it's a positive thing that we know that's been tested a million times. We take that strategy, we implement it on the website. So that's one idea where you don't have to have, an either or mentality. You combine what works and you create something that's drastically different than 99% of the sites out there, but it also has a different purpose than a landing page. Okay, so my entire homepage, I have a good headline. I address a pain point. A lot of people think that in order to get more leads, they need more traffic. Now, at some level that's true, but for most people, you're already getting some traffic to the website. It's just not converting. So we can actually change things on the website so that the existing traffic, you increase the conversion rate there. Again, totally different mind shift than how most people think of it. And if we're being really honest, traffic is a pain in the patootie for most business owners. It's that thing that you have to constantly be doing. You always have to be marketing. You always have to be getting eyeballs on what you do. It's something that won't end. But the overlooked piece of that is, well, if you're sending 50 people a month to your website, or 500 or a million, whatever, if you're sending those people to your website, we can also play with the conversion rate on the actual site to increase your conversion rate. So I have a compelling headline. This is a testimonial montage of, I think, six clients that have seen very specific results and were willing to do this video for me. So right here, right in people's face, here are results that I get for people in their own words. So obviously serving as a testimonial. Here is my opt-in graphic. Now again, I change this, I test it, I see what's working, what's not working. So this is a brand new one I just put on yesterday. This is a report, so it's like a little bit of a report cover and then some copy. I don't know how it's going to perform right now because there's a lot of text here on this graphic, but that's one of the things I'm testing, right? So here's the point. With websites, people usually never change it. They have it built and then it sits there. It doesn't convert. It doesn't, just nothing. It just sits there, right? Whereas a landing page, people tend to put a landing page up, they run ads to it and they go, it didn't really work that great. Or they have the opposite issue, which is, I don't know if it worked that great or not. I'm just going to run a new landing page, a new offer. I'm going to run a new landing page, a new offer. I'm going to run a new landing page, a new offer. And every time they have to create a whole new page, a whole new offer, a whole new ad, a whole new campaign, so on and so forth. So what I do is, again, I take them and combine them and I come somewhere in the middle. So with my homepage like this, I'm able to change this one graphic. I don't have to change anything else. And I'm able to test and see what the response is. Okay, so headline, social proof, offer here, which goes to an actual landing page, which is pretty important. And then down here are my media markers. If you have things like this that really just clearly set you apart from your competition, absolutely use them. But make sure that the people visiting your website care about it. They probably don't care about the 16, online certifications that you have, or they just probably don't care about those things. And I know that's really, like 15 people just like decided they hate me right now. But we have to look at things in terms of your website visitors. And to kind of give you an idea, even though those certifications you worked hard for and you deserve praise and I'll do this and it's hard work and I totally get that. It'd be like saying putting your certifications on there would be like saying I went to this college. Like nobody does that, right? Like nobody puts on their homepage like I'm a graduate of blank university. We don't do that. We might mention it on our about page. So I don't know, there's something, especially in the fitness industry, where we want to put up all the certifications that we have. And again, I'm not saying they're not important, but chances are each trainer in your area has some sort of certification as well. So what we're really looking for down here is media marker type things that are of interest and make that person visiting your website go, like, whoa, okay, like this person was featured in Huffington Post, or this person is the local fitness expert for our magazine or local magazine or our local newspaper. This person's been featured on, the local ABC news station, whatever that case would be. This is my entire homepage. I just went over the elements of it and why they are important. Lots of this actually could be a landing page. The only thing is I added a logo and a navigation. If I simply took off the navigation, people would qualify this as a landing page. Interesting. So the homepage of my website is actually a landing page, but with a navigation bar. So this next part will go pretty quickly, and it's really important. Every other page on your navigation bar has to support the opt-in. You see, the issue with just having a landing page and no website at all is that some people will click on the landing page and be like so enthralled by your offer, like so amazed by your offer that they'll opt in. But the vast majority of them aren't going to be willing to give you their name and email address and phone number or whatever it is that you're asking for. And somewhere in you know that's true, right? Like, how many landing pages do you visit? And of those, how many do you actually fill in the form to get information? So, it's kind of one of those things, like, even if you have a landing page that's converting at 30%, you're still missing 70% of the people. Now, I am not one of those people that kind of sits back and says, oh, you can convert 100%, on a landing page, just not reality. So the reason that I set up my website to be focused as a landing page or as a funnel is because when people come to my site, those that are ready to opt in and join my list and see what I'm all about because maybe they heard about me before, they're warm or hot leads, I want them to opt in. I want them to have the opportunity to focus on one thing, not get bogged down by this huge, homepage with a million things. I want to focus it just like a landing page. But the vast majority of people aren't going to look at my homepage and be like, yeah, like sign me up for that. They're going to want to know a little bit more about me, a little bit more about what I do, a little bit more about results I've been able to get for people, and they just aren't sure yet. So every other page in the navigation bar has to support building the trust and relationship that will ultimately get that website visitor comfortable with opting in. Comfortable is an interesting word, right? Like, what they're really scared of is that they're going to opt in and get a piece of trash. Most opt-ins are just lacking. we'll use that word. They're completely lacking. They're not filled with information. There's no concrete lesson. There's no real value there, right? Us as the business owner, we think everything we do is incredible, but from an outside perspective, most stuff out there is kind of fluffy. And so people don't want to give you their email address because they're already conditioned to think that what you're offering isn't going to be as great as it originally sounds. That's issue number one. Issue number two is they don't want to give you their contact information because they don't want to be contacted. Most people that fill in an opt-in form, unless it's like a big application for like a consultation or, application to join a program, it's something that's, you're making them, fill in a long form to show that they're committed and pre-qualified, that's a different beast. For most people, just doing like a free consult or like where you just enter your name and email or something like that, or free report, free video series, free exercise, whatever the case would be, people, they don't want to give you their email address to get that thing because they know they're already going to be disappointed by it, truth, and they don't want to be contacted. They don't want to be emailed and spammed. So we have a lot that we have to overcome for somebody to give us their email address. That's why I'm testing this right here. Basically saying this is gold, but don't take my word for it. See what other people are saying about this report. And when you click on it, you'll notice that the landing page, here's the button, here's the graphic, here's the button, but everything over here are actual screenshots of what people are saying about this actual report. So I am trying to lower the barrier as much as I can to get people to understand this is a good opt-in. This will give you immediate value. And here's a bunch of social proof about a free opt-in. Okay, really, really important. So I also put other free things on my website. An online business, so if you're a local business, like a local fitness facility, you don't have to have so many different offers. I like doing this because it's an additional way for me to test what people are interested in. I can tell you though, by like huge difference, whatever's on my homepage converts the best. And it's not about the offer because let's just say I had this up for a long time and it was my best converting offer ever. If I were to move it to the navigation bar and bring my free trainings down here, suddenly my free trainings would increase in their conversion rate. So it has nothing to do with really the offer necessarily. It has to do with the placement. So that's another really big gold nugget. So testimonials, I like to do, if you have a lot, put a number there, right? Like if you have 70 or if you have 22 or whatever, like put that number there so people are more likely to click that. So because I have so many, I divide mine up, but I'm getting to a point here. Let's just click on text testimonials. It opens up. So basically people are going to start reading all this, but what I want you to see, this is important. Remember, we're talking about the website being a funnel. Here's that video that I want people to watch in case they didn't see it on the homepage. Here's I show an image of me. I talk a little bit about myself, talk about some personal things that I like, and then I offer a different opt-in. So on every page of my website, the goal is to do one of two things. One of three things. One, opt in for something. Every page of the site, there's an opportunity to opt in for something. That's what I'm funneling people to. That's one. The second thing is to show social proof that I am very different than webmasters and web designers and all of those people. What I do is take websites, set them up for people so that they actually grow your business. Totally different concept. So it's not in people's sphere of thinking about that. And so I have to educate people and then prove that what I do is really, really different. And so all the testimonials and case studies and things like that, it's showing that I'm an expert and know what I'm talking about. And then the third thing that a website has to do is build the relationship. So again, I notice I do that here by talking about who I am personally, things that I like. There on my story page, let me just click on it since I'm talking about it. There is a Who is Lynn Coffey video, and clients, I won't show you the whole thing, but basically clients go through and they talk about what they think of me, right? So I need to get people to trust me and the results that I can deliver. So the entire site is set up to position that. Once they know who I am, like me, and trust me, that's when they will opt in. And the site is littered with places for them to opt in. So there's no long, where they're reading 15 blog posts, or there's none of that. It's the entire navigation is set up to build trust, build credibility, show social proof, and offer an opportunity for people to opt in for something that will actually help their business. Okay, so that is all about social proof. Case studies is just another way to say social proof. So I include those here. Build my site is what people click when they're ready to hire me. So we're talking sales here, not necessarily opt-ins. My story is this page. I'm actually about to redo this page, but the general layout here is that you want your about page to talk about the stuff that is important to your website visitor. So people are coming to my website, and if I just talked about like my amazing high school basketball career, they don't care. They're not interested. What they are interested in is learning about, who I am as a person and kind of how I got into this and all that good stuff. But also, what's my direct experience with getting websites to work, right? So I personally show and tell my story of how I went from point A in my life to point B and how a website got me there. So specifically for me, it was, crazy ass childhood and Section 8 housing and all sorts of issues, low income living, poverty living, all the way up to, having my own successful business for over 10 years and traveling the world and just completely different lifestyle. And so what I do is I actually talk about that, and I talk about, I show images, and I basically go through and basically show how in my own business I used a website to get me from point A to point B. So that's And I talk about it because that is what is of interest to people visiting my website. Now, as you may have realized, like I said, every single page has an opt-in, but even in something long like this here, I have a little form for people to opt in, because if they're reading this whole thing and they get down to this point, even though that's a lazy opt-in, a newsletter, nobody ever opts in for newsletters anymore. This is actually one of the best converting pages on my site. And the reason is because the copy is of interest to visitors. I talk about myself and my own journey in a way that is interesting to my visitors, and it's a no-brainer for them to opt in if they like what they're reading. And believe me, if they're down this far, they like what they're reading. So the last thing is contact, where again, obviously there's a contact form here. It's all about opting in. So I'm going to sum this up because that's a 20-minute training, and I like to keep them at 10 minutes, but this is just way too important. This is huge strategy stuff here. You don't want to be in Team A where you think that a website online brochure is all you need. You just put class times and your certifications, and you talk about when you incorporated the business and that kind of a thing. That's boring. It doesn't make connections. It doesn't opt in. Even if you have an opt-in, it doesn't really get opt-ins. You don't want to be on that team. You also don't want to be on the team that thinks all you need to succeed in business is a landing page. There's a landing page, they're needed, they have their place, but just like websites, it's not 100% foolproof. You're missing a lot of that relationship building, and there's a case to be said, well, when people opt in on your landing page, then you can develop that relationship through email. Absolutely true. I email my list almost daily. I believe in that. That's how you continue the relationship, but you'll get more opt-ins when people have the relationship with you before they're presented with your landing page. Does that make sense? So if someone's never heard of you and they go to your landing page and it just says opt in for this free report of 5 tips to blank, if that relationship's not there, if that know, like, and trust factor is not there, your conversion rates aren't as high as they could be. So again, paid traffic I think should go to a landing page. You can calculate stuff like that. But when your website is set up like this, when your homepage resembles a landing page just with a navigation bar, and when each thing in the navigation bar is there for a purpose, to either offer an opt-in, build trust and credibility, or build that relationship, that's how you get a website to convert. Pow! All right, guys. As usual, if you have any questions on anything that I said here, please let me know. That's a big conversation that I just tried to shove in, to 22 minutes or whatever. So I'm going to end it here. But as always, reach out with questions, message me, email me, whatever it is you want to do. Check out my website though. Look at what I'm doing and try to piece together, like, okay, I see what Lynn's doing here. This is a social proof page. All right, see what Lynn's doing here. This is a relationship building page. Okay, cool. I see what she's doing here. So actually go ahead and check out my website, see how it's all set up, and kind of knowing that strategy now, I think you'll be able to see that pattern and then try to mimic that on your site. That's how you can increase conversion rates without needing more traffic, which I think is a really cool concept. Okay, bye.